Arm wrestling training is a subject that needs a lot more research. Usually, we see the entire arm wrestling community kind of separated in their own ways. Every single country has their own different training method, and every arm wrestler trains differently. Some prefer table time, some prefer gym work. I think ideally it would be best if we can somehow find the best combination of both of these things. And today we have a guest, Levi Knight, who's been doing a lot of research and it is his profession as well in this very subject. Welcome, brother, and please tell our audience something about yourself.
Yeah, for sure, man. First, I want to start off with saying thank you for letting me come on and talk it up with you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I am a certified fitness and nutritionist. Um, and I specialize in my wrestling training program. I'm currently ranked number 14 in North America at 154. I'm halfway through number one. I'm trying to bring as many guys with me. We've got the knowledge and experience and the plan put together to figure out all the challenges anybody arm wrestling really needed to figure out. We take them out. Get them on the right path to success quickly, right? That's the whole goal.
Yeah. To me, your audio is getting cut a little bit. I've asked the chat if let me wait to see the response if they're getting your audio okay as well. Are you sure your microphone is connected? Because you seem to have a great microphone.
It was, but I'll just unplug it. Can you hear me better now with just the
Yeah,
computer audio?
far better, far better.
We'll just do
Maybe
this.
I think that was not connected. That would be my guess. So you've been arm wrestling for over 4 years. That's what I heard, right?
Yeah, about 4.5 years. And man, I got bit with the bug when I first started. I've pulled about 35 tournaments, 6 super matches, and 2 or 3 round robins. I traveled all over the country, got to meet a lot of really cool people through this sport. And, I think a big reason I progressed as much as I have is just because I've been so consistent and eager.
Yeah. So, brother, one question will be whenever I hear about arm wrestling training, of course, I'm not an expert, I'm not even intermediate kind of person in terms of training and stuff. But whenever these arm wrestling training questions come up, even the experienced guys are always like, well, you figure it out yourself, you'll have to figure it out yourself. And that is one thing that I don't like. Like, if you go to a powerlifting coach, there is a good possibility that everyone will be doing some good mornings exercises there and some fixed. If you are a sprinter, you will be doing high knees with probably 50 pounds or 100 pounds on barbell on your back. There are some fixed exercises that everyone has to do in every single sport, and then we can change small things. But in arm wrestling, you go to John Brezink and he's going to tell you that, bro, you have to figure it out yourself. So what's up with that figure it out yourself in the arm wrestling community? I don't think any other community, especially strength community, works like that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's like the vets just see a lot of amateurs that they don't see hope in them, so they don't want to take the time, or I don't know. You got to think they're not that busy. But I remember whenever I first started, the first 2 years, I can remember just really wanting to get some kind of table time with some pro who like obviously knew what he was talking about to learn. And yeah, it was that way. I tell you, a couple of the guys who were the first pros that started giving me some nuggets, just to give them a little shout out because they deserve it, was Justin Bishop and Brent Rockers. Those were the first 2 guys teaching me how to set up in the strap and the ref's grip and protect pronation and set things up. And it was huge. It's huge. Those are some big nuggets you get when you first start. Because when you hear it from guys like that, you can take it to be true.
Yep, yep. So, do you think arm wrestling training, this stuff needs a lot more research? And first of all, what's your specialization? If people buy the training program from you, are you going to tell us basically the gym training exercises, or you're going to teach them the table work as well? What the program is all about?
Yeah, so I could give you a big spiel on it all. So I do use a form of the conjugate method that is for the arm wrestling training specifically. We do all practice once a week. Of course, we do max effort day once a week and we do speed day once a week. Um, 90% of my guys are not doing just arm wrestling specific. Most of them are doing some form of gym workouts mixed into arm wrestling. So In arm wrestling, the biggest difference is that the training is so hard to figure out for new guys coming into this is because, unlike in powerlifting and bodybuilding, in those two sports, they work out and they take on stimulation and very little damage in the muscles, which takes much less time to recoup from. We take stimulation and damage together, but it's in tendons and ligaments and joints, so it takes much more time to heal from. So there has to be some type of an approach with rehab thought in there to avoid overtraining because it's very easy to do. You're overtrained, your likelihood for injury goes up. So I use a form of the conjugate method where we are training 6 different fundamentals. They are rise, cup, pronation, supination, side pressure, and a dragon style back pressure. We rotate through these fundamentals and we use the different intensities of volume, speed day, and max effort, right? And so the way I structure it is we have volume where it's low weight, high reps, and then we have speed day, and then volume, and then max effort, and then volume, and then practice, and then volume again, so that you get a recovery workout in between every one. Because speed, max effort, and practice are the 3 higher intensity workouts. And of course, we do 4 different speed day movements, 2 inside moves, 2 outside moves. We rotate them every week. And then we do 3 different max effort days where we get a chance, 4 different chances to break a PR every week. We usually do rise and pronation one week, supination and side pressure the next week, and then cup and drag the following week. And then on week 4, we get back to it. And man, all of these guys in this program are breaking their PRs by 15 and 20 pounds. And a lot of it has to do with tracking. Like I'm tracking it, keeping up with them, holding them accountable so they're not missing workouts. And we're seeing huge shootouts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
can't.
of it. And then for the gym stuff, the guys that do the gym stuff, I usually have them doing on the volume days. When it's speed day or max day or practice day, we do just that. But on the volume days, we'll do chest and triceps, back and biceps, and then shoulders and abs or shoulders and legs.
Yeah, and accountability is great. Like glad that you mentioned that, and even more important that will be, in my opinion, a community. So, do you have sort of a community where I know if I sign up for your program, I know that at this point of time everyone will be posting their lifts, everyone will be giving their feedback. So I kind of don't feel like left out. I'm not the only sissy in the group who just simply who's lazy or who cannot lift things or who cannot do anything. So that kind of accountability where there are different men pushing each other to different limits, that is really necessary. So do you have that kind of community?
Yeah, I sure do. I have a WhatsApp group and I have every one of my guys and myself. We all post a set from speed day and from max day every week. And I tell you, we have some guys who practice on the weekends, some guys who practice on Wednesdays. So you get these different videos throughout the week. And every time you get them, man, it'll pump you up and make you want to go lift weights yourself. And then on accountability, I also do text message support with all my guys. I can film workouts and send them videos if they need them. And we also do one-on-one weekly Zoom chats. I get on a Zoom chat for 30 minutes with all my guys. We go over the workouts, go over the nutrition. I'm a certified nutritionist, so I also offer grocery list, meal prep instructions. I've even filmed myself making a lot of these delicious meals and even custom restaurant menus where they let me know what restaurant they're going to 30 minutes in advance. I'll go Google and scan and give them options to put their goals. So the Zoom chats are a big part of the accountability where I can ask detailed questions about all these things. And it helps me to really fine tune what each person needs for their goal.
Yeah. So what kind of clients do you usually get or expect? Like, do you expect them to know the basics of like what is a cupping movement, what is pronation, what is multi-spinner? Do you expect them to have those equipments at home, or do you tell people these are the equipments or this is the gym setup that you're going to be needing for this program moving forward?
Yeah. So before I would start somebody, there would be certain basics they would need, just mainly that we could cover the 6 movements, right? As long as we can cover rise, pronation, cup, supination, side pressure, and drag, and like 3 or 4 of those you can do with a strap, really. So it's pretty well basic. The table and pulley setup is necessary. An easy bar, table, or at least a half table to train. I do. I help guys. I've even sent them videos on how to make their own homemade handles that work good. I've sent them links to get handles and even told them which one makes the most sense to get next if they're adding to their equipment. But I mean, everybody who's got a home gym, you're thinking about what you're going to buy next, right? We're all trying to add to them. So, for
Yeah.
sure.
Ja Cobbin is saying that sounds like a good program, and Luca is saying that I saw Levi whooping some ass recently. So your audio got cut off when you were telling about yourself in the beginning. I personally don't believe that a coach should be a world level athlete himself, but there are many people who like to know about the level of the person that they are getting coached from. So can you tell us again what is your current level at in United States arm wrestling?
Right now, I'm ranked number 14 in North America, right-handed. I am a current defending Mississippi State champ, Texas State champ. I'm coming off of a couple big wins in Florida and Arkansas lately. And yeah, just the last 2 years, I've really been building a lot of momentum, but winning a lot of the bigger tournaments in the South. I'm getting wins over the biggest names, and it's been nice. It's been excellent. It's been a part of my journey of making mistakes in my training and learning from the mistakes that have led me to this point.
So, which training program do you yourself lean forward towards? I heard you mention that arm wrestlers do need more time to recover. So, just hearing that, I'm assuming that you may not be a big fan of the Bulgarian training system where they train like 3 times every day on the table. What do you have to say about that?
Uh, I think like Devin doing that, it makes sense for him, right? Because like if he's feeling like he's not hitting the higher intensities, if he's just doing volume, he could do volume more often. Or even if his max effort lifts are much less lower intensity short workouts with very few reps. And if you're doing volume, like if you're retired and you have that kind of time, then realistically, yeah, that'd be great if you could break your workouts in with that. Your body would just adapt to what kind of stimulus you're giving it better. But to be, I mean, realistic, most of the guys that I'm helping get better are only have 5 or 6 hours a week to work out. They have full-time jobs and kids and everything. And so around that, we have to be really efficient with the time that they have.
Yeah. And thanks for joining us. The links of Levi Fitness YouTube channel and his Facebook page is mentioned in the description of the video. And once again, can you tell us like how do we contact you? Of course, I've mentioned the Facebook link in the description. What next after that?
Yeah, so all you have to do is just shoot me a message and just say something about the coaching or interested in coaching or a program. I'm Levi Fit on Facebook. I'm Levi Fit on YouTube. Levi Fit Arm on Instagram. Levi Fit 5 on TikTok. I respond to messages on all of them. Just shoot me a message and we'll go from there. And something like I spoke with you about before we went live, I want to do for your audience. Anybody that's listening to this podcast that hears about me from this show, I want to give you a 10% discount. So I'm going to give you a discount code for Beat10. If you tell me that code in the messages or in the conversation we have, then we'll get you hooked up with a discount. Yeah.
Yeah. So Levi, I won't mention what exactly we talked about. We discussed that for everyone, for every person who signs up with the Pradeep 10 code, I am also going to get a percentage of that or a fixed amount of that. How about I don't need that amount at all and you make it maybe 20% instead of 10?
About 15. Let me get you in there.
Okay. So because I personally, the reason for saying that I personally haven't used that program, so to me it feels like kind of awkward to be taking money from you when I haven't tried that program myself. So what do you have to like? Can you offer something to me? Like, can I be coached? Can I be trained? I'm a lazy person.
Yeah. Do you have at least 4 or 5 days a week you're willing to train an hour each day? I mean, I can hold you accountable. I can text you in. We could set up the times. You tell me when you're free. I can stay on top of it and every bit of it.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. Then it can be like better promotion if you train me, and then we can have maybe a weekly podcast discussing this thing, and or at least twice every single month. That would be better in my opinion than compared to just me taking a percentage of every sign up. So that would be personally better for me.
Let's do that. I think let's have another talk, just me and you tomorrow, and we'll get you all set up and get started. I'll get pictures of all your equipment from you. Just get a bunch more details about your goals and all the different styles you're pulling and stuff. And we can do that. We can even do our accountability calls for Zoom. We can do them every 2 weeks on here as a live. That'd be great.
Yeah, and maybe we can record them for YouTube as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, it'll give people a good example of what one of these check-ins and what the accountability looks like and how detailed it all is.
Yeah. So for a beginner who doesn't have that kind of muscle maturity, when I think about starting workout, which I do almost every day, but I never start working out. So for me, it's like, should I do some basic general strength training because my muscles cannot lift anything? They're going to get tired immediately if I get on the table. So should I do some basic strength training, or do you straight up sign up the even the beginners for arm wrestling specific exercises?
Yeah, I think if arm wrestling's your goal, I think right away you got to start getting that hand and wrist strong right away. You want cupping, you want rising, you want pronation because these are your main attacks in a match, even when you have all those other muscle groups strong. I would think anybody that's starting out that doesn't have any type of a background in lifting weights at all, of course, it would make a lot of sense to start doing overall general workouts just so that you condition your body to be able to take high stress of arm wrestling and not get injured. So that would definitely be good, but each situation kind of would have a different strategy. It would depend on the specific situation and all the detail.
And just to make things clear, guys, Levi can offer you some nutrition as well. He can. You said that you cannot provide full meal plans, but you can help out with the nutrition as well.
Yeah, so instead of like I can't actually like exactly tell someone what to eat because I'm not a certified dietitian. I am a certified nutritionist. So
Nutritionist.
I make full on grocery lists. I help with meal with macro counting and explaining how food works, what's the makeup of the calories that you're eating and how they work. And then we're going to balance out steps and calories burned with calories taken in, also while getting in quality calories that we're taking in, right? And each different amount, like the nutrition varies a little for each person based on if they're losing weight, if they're trying to gain muscle, if they're just content with where they're at. But I do a full on grocery list, and then they'll have options of delicious protein rich meals that they can pick different sides with different meats and plug together so that they don't feel like they're eating the same monotonous thing every morning. It's more sustainable whenever there's some variety to it. You don't get bored on the same thing. And then, of course, the restaurant menus. That's a big key for a lot of people. A lot of people don't have the discipline when it comes to going to a restaurant to not get the worst thing on the menu because it makes their soul happy. But if they had that already included, it makes a big difference that you're not cheating at restaurants.
Yeah, and nutrition can be a difficult part as well because arm wrestling is an international community because you may specialize in whatever is available or usually eaten in the states, but in different parts of countries, the foods that you are going to mention to people sometimes they may not even have heard about it. What is that thing? So
Yeah,
it can be a tricky
I
part.
agree. Yeah, that is very tricky. I agree with you. That's something I hadn't thought out yet. I actually heard how the UFC fighter Justin Gaethje was talking about when he fought Khabib in Abu Dhabi that the food there was so much different. He's like, man, we always eat the same thing before my fights. They didn't have none of that stuff. It's crazy. So, yeah, that is a big deal. That's a really big deal. That's not something I had thought about before. I do also with my program. Some guys are not skinny trying to gain muscle, and some guys are not heavier than they need to be, needing to come down in weight classes, and they don't need nutritional help. So I do offer a package where it's just workouts and accountability as well.
Yeah. And straight away about the training part, you mentioned hand and wrist. So it immediately reminds me of Devon Lett after his awesome performance against Hermes Gasparini. So you obviously will have a big database of coaching people, so you can also learn from that part as well. But other than that, are you trying to upgrade your own knowledge about arm wrestling because you are already a certified strength coach, so you know your stuff, how to get strong? But about arm wrestling specific exercises, how do you like to upgrade your own knowledge?
Yeah, so it's really great. Me being a numbers guy and a nerd in all this, I've been
Todzilla.
all yeah. And I mean, I'm using conjugate method off of him as well. So you can tell I'm a fan, right? So I have enough clients under me now where I can make a sample size group and I can test things. I can have like 5 guys start something a little bit different, make some change on a theory that I'm talking with someone else about, like my good friend Herman Stevens or something. And I can see what happens with these 5 guys over a month. And then I can conclude in my mind with some type of proof that this either works and I should have everybody do it, or it doesn't work and it was just a test. you know So that's been really cool. I've been throwing a lot of different theories at things and learning a lot about arm wrestling training in that sense of being able to have groups of guys try different theories, you know.
Yeah, and in a few years it will be a great, I think one of the best training programs out there. Young Gladiator, Pradeep. Okay, thanks for everyone joining in the chat. So after we join, like, is that a monthly training program, like monthly fees or yearly fees, and how long do you expect people to stay with you? Of course, the ideal thing for you will be forever, but what's the ideal duration for that training?
I have different options that just fit different people's budget the best. I have a 12-month plan, a 6-month plan, or a 3-month plan. And I do it either if someone needs to do it monthly, I do a monthly option, but it is a little bit cheaper if they pay in full up front for the whole 3 month, 6 month. But I have so many different price options, man, with nutrition, without all the different time lengths and everything. I have enough different packages that I don't even try to push people towards the longest package or staying forever. I just try to see which one makes the most sense to this is their goal and this is how long it should take us to get to that goal. And these are all the perks we need to get to it, right? So that's the price is really based on what's the perfect fit to get that person what they want to accomplish, right?
Yeah. So let's say my goal is, if there is a future bottom eight tournament, not like the previous bottom eight tournament where there were really good guys like Ryan Bowen and Artem Ternenko. I think if the next bottom eight happens, it will be kind of guys like maybe
Like
Aussie arm wrestler, maybe Adam Silver. So those, like, if I want to win that kind of tournament, like how much time will it take for me to train for that?
Man, honestly, if that's the kind of tournament you're trying to win, I'd probably tell you that somebody like Artem Ternenko's training perfect might be a little better. I'm just kidding with you. I'm messing with you and taking the jab right here. No, Adam Silver is a stud, man. He's a tough. It might take us at least 6 months. I think we can catch him for sure, but
Yeah.
it might take 6 months. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see you get that experience. That'd be that opportunity. That'd be a really cool experience.
Yeah. Mustafa Hussein is saying, how much did he pay you for this interview? We discussed that part in the beginning of this interview. I think you just joined, so you can rewind and that check out yourself. That's not enough edge, Levi. Okay. Jacobin is saying, how many books do you have, Josh? I'll teach you guys how to arm wrestle. Okay. Josh is also willing to teach people. Okay. And this is your full-time job, you mentioned? And since when?
Since February the 5th or 10th, something like that. Since February, yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Arm wrestling is growing to a level where people can make a living off of it. I think it's entirely possible. I can myself do it really easily without any problem from YouTube, and I think I can earn way more than my current job. I am earning way more than my current job, but I have a bond, so I have to stay with my job. That's kind of an unfortunate situation, but it's in a good spot, man. It's in a good spot. And now we're seeing, Levi, it's kind of off topic, but we're seeing people, there are commentators who can make a living off of it. Maybe not in the States yet, but I just commentated for Indian Arm Wrestling League, and there are spots for coaches as well, if you are ever interested in having a free trip to India. But the thing is that you'll have to stay here for like 17 to 20 days. So 6 coaches, we have 6 different teams, and all of the coaches all of them were paid a certain amount, and travel, accommodation, food, everything covered for like almost 3 weeks. And I think it was a great time. All of them enjoyed that, like really special VIP type of treatment for the coaches. One coach for every single team. If you are interested in that, then please let me know. I can talk with the owner of the organization.
Yeah, that sounds almost kind of like the Ultimate Fighter from UFC, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I'm interested. Yeah, give me some details on that. We can talk more about it for sure. That'd be a really cool experience.
Yeah. So this time they invited Rustam Babayev as well from Ukraine, but he couldn't come due to some federation issues and stuff. There was one coach from Yerkin. So all of the coaches were were international coaches, and Rustam's trip was cancelled like at the last moment, the day he was about to catch the flight or something like that. So with him, you may know Basil coach from Dubai. He does the translations and stuff. Maybe you not have, the chat must know. So they were like, okay bro, you are a fitness coach, you come here as a coach, because he was coming here anyway. So like they have the budget to even invite people for translation if they want to come, and fitness coaches, physiotherapists, doctors, the full separate team. And we have 6 different teams, and we went live on TV. I think you may not know, we went live on TV, and millions of people watching live every single hour. So
Yeah. How
yeah,
many athletes was it? So it was 6 different teams of how many guys?
30 athletes every single team, 180 arm wrestlers. So I don't think it has ever happened where in a hotel there were like all 180 arm wrestlers and probably 100 staff, so almost 300 people. Everyone was paid, everyone was on a salary, and food, accommodation, travel was covered for every single one. I don't think it has ever happened in arm wrestling.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love it. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that is great. And people who came here and who saw the event, they were like, the production quality is like better than King of the Table and East versus West combined, and it has to be better because you are giving a product to be displayed on national sports channel, like biggest sports channel in India. So the production quality naturally has to be better, and I was the commentator there, so I got some good experience to commentate as well. 12 super matches every single day for 17 days. And in India, brother, I think there is a desperate need for coaching in arm wrestling, because the level, it is still not that great, and it can be better, because there are some 80 kilo guys in India that would be like 175 pounds, something like that. They're beating the super heavyweight guys. Like anyone who is outside of top 5 in supers, he's going to get easily beaten by the 80 kg national champion, or sometimes even guys like Rahul Panikar who are like 70 kg national champion. So
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Even in the States, we got some guys like that that'll be like 90 kilos, and they'll be some of the best super heavyweights. Like, you gotta understand that a lot about arm wrestling has to do with skill, and there's some guys that ain't the biggest guys that got a lot of skill.
yeah, so coaching is really good, and I think people will be dropping weight class more and more, seeing that the level of the sport is increasing. Right now people go to heavier classes. It may be the opposite in US, because the super heavy class is stacked. It's kind of opposite in India. So if somebody like wants to cut weight for a tournament, can you help them with your program for that as well?
Yeah. So I would help them lose weight to get down to within a reasonable range of where we need to be, and then I do a water overload cut. I personally cut 10 to 12 pounds from about 76, 77 kilos down to 70 kilos. I can put at 70 kilos. And that can be done with water manipulation. It's done with, I help all my guys with that.
Yeah. So is that something that is included in the program, like the weight cut protocol, or
Yeah, even if someone didn't get nutrition coaching and they just got the workouts and accountability, I would even help them with their water weight the week of the tournament before weigh-ins, and then the recovering between weigh-ins and competition. I would still give them a 100% detailed plan the whole week for that.
yeah. And for table time, what would you suggest people to do who do not have anyone around them who is interested in arm wrestling? Like if I open armbet, I select that to 200 kilometers. There is literally no one in that radius for me. So what would you suggest that kind of person who's in that situation?
There are a lot of ways that you can use different handles, different combinations of different pressures coming from different points, two different at the same time, a lot of ways. And even dynamic pressures, where you can still train a lot of the fundamentals and still gain strength in the movements we use that we fight with. But the thing that's hard there is the skill thing, right? Because in order to gain skill, you're outskilling some other person, and that's a process that continues to happen. So I think in the sense for practice, that's one thing that's crucial. I think when it comes to practice, though, a lot of guys are messing up by going hard for 2 and 3 hours and banging it out and having these wars. And I'm sure you've had practices that go 3 hours. You're sore for 3 or 4 or 5 days after that. You're aching. I don't know that that's the most efficient route to progress personally, if that's the case. But it also stands to have a case to be made. If you're less than 2 years into the sport, you should be practicing at least once a week. You know what I mean? I think after you're at the 2 year mark, when you successfully get to the point where you can set a low hand to keep a hooker outside, where you can hook somebody that's posting, or you're comfortable posting against another outside poster. Once you can handle all three of those styles and you're comfortable in anything, it's time to worry about getting strong, and you can practice every 2 weeks instead of every week. But to get to that level, I think table time every week is crucial. It is.
Yeah, Joe Cobbin is saying great job on that, Pradeep. I'm not sure what we discussed, what that comment is about, but thank you, brother. So about training, let's say if somebody comes to you or messages you that, bro, I tried this and I think I got injured. I popped something in my elbow. Like, what would be your next response after that?
Well, I would be asking what movement we were doing whenever they pop. What did it sound like when it popped? What did it feel like? I would be asking, does it hurt when you put pressure on it? Does it hurt when you try and supinate? Does it hurt when you're cupping? We try to figure out what it is, what the injury is, try to figure out what the severity of the injury is. Usually it never hurts an injury to at least the first 4 or 5 days give it rest and evaluate what's going on. But then if there's no bruising or soreness around it and doesn't seem to be extremely a bad issue, like severe, then we would start working in some volume, start rehabbing it in certain ways to figure out what the issue is. I've actually got a couple of different guys that have injured different things in their wrist. One guy here, one guy pulled something up here. I've got a guy dealing with carpal tunnel, and I take it on myself to get them good resources of ways to rehab this. So I've done a lot of studying in all of these different injuries, at least 10 or 12 hours on each one, until I was able to figure out some stretches and exercises that were getting used.
Yeah. You know why I asked this question? Because when you earlier mentioned that you have enough people in your program right now, that you have a good database to have some research or things like that. And I can see a small business plan in your whatever you are doing in the future for you, is that if you get big enough, you can then hire maybe a physio guy. So guys, here's the training, and if you get injured, if you need some advice, here's the physio guy. That is also included in the program. Is that something that you have thought about doing in the future?
Um, I would definitely in the future be looking, as I continue to grow this and bring on more and more guys, because it is growing very well. I would bring in an assistant coach that would help with the workouts and help with one-on-ones and help with all of the things that are helping clients progress. And of course, it would have to be someone that's knowledgeable, that's experienced in arm wrestling. I have my best friend. He's a 3-time national champion power lifter, and a third in the world in his senior year in college. And he's in like 30 tournaments with me, 25 at least over the last 4 years. He's a very good arm wrestler as well. So he would be his most qualified. And honestly, when it comes to that, when you're talking about me as a guy, 4.5 years in, him as well, 4 or 5 years in, we've dealt with a lot of injuries, or if we haven't dealt with them, other guys close to us that we train with often have. So to some extent, we're not just taking shots in the dark when it comes to already knowing something about rehabbing, but willing to learn more for any special injury that helps somebody heal faster, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that most of your clients are from US, or do you have some international clients as well?
So far, they're all U.S. right now. I have done some calls and come close to having a few guys, have a few international clients still interested. Some guys I'm still talking to, but so far just U.S. But as long as we can understand each other, as long as there's no
Yeah.
image, I'm 100% game. We got goals. Let's crush them.
Yeah, my audience is also mostly US and Europe as well. Like only 6-7% of audience on my channel is from my country, India, because it's a English YouTube channel. So what I got basically from this is that you guys can contact Levi from the link mentioned in the description. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is also tagged in the title of this video, and then you can contact him. You can discuss about the plans, whether you want arm wrestling training only or nutrition plan as well along with that. And then I think you will ask them to download a free app from Play Store, which is or iPhone store. I think it is called I forgot the name. What was the name? I've downloaded that app. What was the name of the app?
MyFitnessPal for tracking.
Okay, and other than, I think you mentioned a different app.
Yeah, so I use an app that I pay for as a coach where it has a coach and a client version.
Okay.
And I go from the coach version and put in the workouts weekly, and then all my clients can view it from their phone. And I've even filmed myself doing all these workouts properly. So even before they do it, they can see a video of it being done correctly.
Okay, so if today's program is this, and I don't know what this exercise means, like belt pronation, I don't know what is a belt pronation. So we can search in that app and we can see you doing that exercise.
Yeah, you don't even have to search. Like when I put the workout in, it links the video right there.
Hi.
All you have to do is hit play and everything. Yeah. And then if there's any workouts that don't have a video or something's unclear, I keep my table and pulley set up like literally 30 feet from where I'm at on the porch. I'll take my phone and go out there and film a video and send it right back.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So guys, please check that out. Use the code Pradeep10. Is it still Pradeep10 or Pradeep15 now?
15, yeah.
Pradeep 15. You can already search PRADEEP as some people have mentioned it in the chat, and you'll get 15% off, and hopefully you'll see me coaching as well in the future, so you can directly see if I'm getting some gains from the program or not. That is going to be a cool thing. So please check that out. Armwrestling training is a great thing. I think there is a big opportunity in the future to make some career out of arm wrestling as well. At least I can see that happening here in India and multiple countries as well. You can film your own workouts, you can put it out. Will you be okay if you not the entire program, but I did this workout today, if somebody posts it on his own social media?
Yeah, I have a few of my guys that have their own YouTube channel and they post their workouts all the time. I encourage it. I mean, you're going to film it and send it to me so that I know you're doing it anyways. You might as well film it. Get used to other people seeing.
Yeah. So thanks for joining, brother. Anything else that you would like to add before we end this interview?
That's it, man. Just I'd love to say thank you for letting me come on and speak to your audience. I appreciate you giving me the ears. Thank
you, brother. Thank you. So please check that out, guys. Like the video, share it in the social media pages if you can, and I think it's going to be a great journey ahead. Thank you, guys. Bye. I've ended